Hello, this is Eric of NotBIOS and welcome to my ultimate review of the Elgato Wave XLR. I say ultimate because I'm going to be testing for more than just streaming. That's only a small part of what this thing can do.
How do I get out of here? Let's see, my key. Let me use my key. Use. Sweet, okay. Pretty amazing, there's keys float in this game. Keys all float down here. No.
You got your 48 volts, so phantom power, condenser mic where you might want to do voices, advertisement work, and whatnot. And of course, you have your dynamic mic. None of this, though, is going to be auxiliary out for audio. I already have a separate video on that versus the Scarlett, so I'll link that in the description below. Now, I am going to comment on occasion where the Scarlett exceeds the Elgato Wave XLR in certain purposes, so you can decide, is the Elgato right for you, or is the Scarlett right for you? Well, find out in this ultimate guide. Now let's get started!
Before we really get started here, this is my volume I'm using on my Elgato Wave XLR at this time. It's talking through the Shure MV7 microphone, which is very similar to the SM7B microphone in terms of gain volume. I found the decibel volume only about 2 decibels different, which is very small in this grand scheme of things. So yeah, this can power the SM7B easily, except this you'll start to get hiss creeping in. And when you go anywhere above this volume for sure, and maybe even quite at this volume. I'm not wearing my headset right now because most of this I'm going to be using my headset for testing all the different tests so I can hear every nuance and every sound for this thing. So right now I have the Elgato XLR connected to PC, and I have the volume here of the actual gain. Now if I press the button, we are now on my headphones, but much higher than this, I start to hear some hiss. So if I turn it up, which you can't hear on your end, right around there, I got quite a bit of hiss happening in my monitor for my headset. But let's turn this down to reasonable volume so I can actually do the testing. So I'm going to leave this about here. And now I'm going to go to my monitor, my gain. So right here is where I can actually see if there's any hiss. So I'm going to turn this up. And this is what my volume is right now for my MV7 from Shure. Now I'm going to turn this up and listen for the hiss. I'm going to try to not make any sound. As I turn the volume back down, that's when you want to turn your volume back down. So what I do is turn it up right now, okay? Yeah, so that hiss should have showed up. So if you turned up your speakers, you should have very much noticed that hiss as you turned that gain up on the microphone. The fox with socks jumped into the box. His fur shone like the sun. When the fox runs, he runs down, 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 down the darkish hole. So we're now using a condenser mic to record. And the one sad part is it's very susceptible to hiss when you turn the volume up very much. However, it's recordable and usable, and I still get good volume. It's just when I go much higher than this, well, that's where the hiss creeps in. My headphone volume is about halfway right now, so if I press the button, you can see that's where the headphone is. Audio mix, back to the gain of the mic. Now listen. Now we're going to turn this up a bit to actually listen for the hiss here.
Yeah, so that got pretty bad. One question you may have is to use a condenser or dynamic mic for when gaming and doing streaming. I recommend a dynamic mic for sure rather than a 48 volt power mic because this picks up everything. So if I drop this empty box from even right here, my chest level, and drop it right close to the camera and away from me, you should be able to hear that pretty darn clear. It actually hit the tripod before it even fell to the ground. So even a whisper, this type of mic can pick up. If that's what you're going for, well, go ahead. Just make sure you have closed back headphones like this, or else the sound will feed through the mic again. It picks up every little nuance. Though for most people, I'd definitely recommend a dynamic mic, such as my MV7 that's actually just showing right there. This is the Shure MV7, which is very similar in gain volume to SM7B. So the SM7B in this one could definitely be powered by the Elgato, and the gain, you don't have to worry about it. It has lots of gain on the Elgato, defying, completely beating the Scarlett 2i2 Gen 3 in terms of volume for gain, especially on your dynamic mics. Huge amount of gain for this as well, but you can get to the point of getting hiss. But I guess if you listen closely, turn it down one notch from where it hisses, and you'll be good and got good volume still. So can't complain that way. Now, what would you use a condenser mic for? It's to actually get more dynamics. I'm not sure if you'll hear any difference when I do the same line as I normally do for testing. The fox with socks jumped into the box. His fur shone like the sun. When the fox runs, he runs down, 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 down the darkish hole. You can do cartoon voices with this.
Vegeta, you will never get away from me. I am a great, mighty warrior. You can call me the Grinder. I knew this guy once. He wore brown pants. It was almost like he pooped himself. It was pretty funny. And they dragged on the ground. It was leaving trails of brown stuff all over the place. I really don't know what to make of it. It was kind of it was strange. It was like one of those things you wonder if they're from another planet or something.
Yeah, so this is where you might do ads. This is CFTK, Radio Canada. So now here's a test that's a little bit more unusual. What if you were to actually do an interview and you had two microphones attached to one? Because I have a bunch of splitters, so I can do that. But it might be something that you decide, okay, well, I need an audio interface and I have the Elgato. Well, is the Elgato a good choice whatsoever? Well, here's a short clip for you. Hello, this is Eric of Not Baus, and I'm talking to you on the Elgato Wave XLR with two different mics connected. So when you actually did radio, did you have more like this idea or a stand like this?
We're usually the kind that's kind of hanging down in front of you that you can adjust with your hand.
So similar to this, or is it underneath you, or does it go over top down like this?
No, usually from the top down.
The one microphone was much quieter than the other. Of course, the other person that was on the other side here probably could have spoke closer into his microphone. But either way, there's no way to actually fix that audio issue. So you'd have to practice your speaking volume ahead of time to know what you're doing. Now, however, if I use a microphone like the Scarlett, I'll show a clip here just to show you how the Scarlett's 2-channel on the 2i2 especially benefits that over the Elgato for that particular purpose. So what kind of things did you learn doing radio?
I learned that if people call into an all-request show to make fun of you, you can record everything, cut their words, change them around, and make them sound like an idiot. And replay it.
That sounds like something fun to do.
And get them to call back in not very happy with you, and you can also do it again a second time. All you need is the words.
So which place did you actually train for doing radio?
Well, I got started at a country music station and a rock station on the prairies.
So when it comes to doing interviews with the Elgato Wave XLR, the Scarlett 2i2, which is more meant for that kind of purpose, makes a lot more sense where you have a left and right hand audio channel. However, what I want to show now is live streaming. Now for game live streaming, let me explain this in here from the computer. So we now have OBS open. What you're going to have to do, of course, have your wavelength set for your microphone.
then your game on your other stream. So I did that already. That's not going to do everything yet. So what I got to do now is make sure that my playback device is the correct one, Wavelink Game, because by default it was speaker and that would not work. So I need Wavelink Game. Then on here, OBS, I set my properties. So I have my mic. And then on my other one, I have my game set. So I go to properties, game, perfect. Now I can go into my game that I'm ready to stream here. So let's return to game. This game I haven't really played much of. This is Resident Evil 2 Remake. And I hadn't played it since August 14, 2020 until just starting it up moments ago here. Quite the
Hello?
nice looking game.
Anybody there?
Nobody's here yet. Come on, just walk in. Let me play. Yeah, grab your flashlight. You might want to see something. Special prices.
Something's not right.
Probably see eventually how expensive things have got since this game was made here with all those price tags showing. What kind of cleaners are these?
You alright?
Yeah, are you alright? No, he has some blood. He's fine.
Don't move. I'll be back for you.
I probably won't be bad for him though. I just have other things to do. Let's go a little faster. You're fighting. What's going on? What's going on?
Stop moving.
Officer, you need help?
Stay back, sir. I got you.
When it comes down to condenser mics, I found the Scarlett to be more silent with less likely to get hiss. The gain, of course, on the Elgato Wave XLR is really good, that it really goes high, but the hiss does creep in fairly quickly. So overall, it's up to you what you like, but the Elgato Wave XLR is definitely worthwhile with how much gain it has. So in that aspect and how simple and small it is, you really couldn't go wrong. And just so you know, the firmware was the newest version at this time, which is 1.2 for the Elgato itself, and the software was 1.302536 or whatever it was, but was the newest software as of August 6th was the last update I did on this particular unit. So thanks for watching, and have yourselves a most wonderful day. Do you suffer from persistent nasal itch while standing? Well, call the friendly folks at Nasal Stand. We'll use the most high-tech methods to remove your problem. Nasal Stand, we got a nose to pick with you.